Hi John, just to continue on, or we done a video before on Donald Trump. This is going to be an update. So why do you think the media are anti-Trump?
We did a Trump from John Malone's Christian Jobs Action Party supporting President Trump during the election and subsequent to his success. The media treated President Trump during the campaign in the most obnoxious and vile manner that any presidential candidate was ever treated. It was universal, not just in the US, but throughout the world, the democratic world. It was disgraceful. So they painted President Trump in a very bad light. Since he surprised everyone by being elected by the people in the US and elected pretty good in these electoral colleges, they cannot get over the big mistake that they made. They have found fault with President Trump ever since and questioned his sanity, his ability to govern. They've even questioned his choice of his cabinet, and some of his nominees have been subjected by the Democratic Party in America, who cannot either take their beating to delay the nomination of these people.
It's unusual they're so anti-Trump, given that he helps them sell quite a lot of newspapers. He helps the media in a lot of ways.
As soon as he's mentioned on newspapers in this negative light and some other matter, papers sell. So they're on to a winner. So we're not going to see anything positive about President Trump anytime soon. The New York Times, which tried to destroy him before the election, are still suffering from amnesia and trying to pick fault with President Trump any chance they get. They are a disgrace. Likewise, the TV and radio media are at the same thing. When President Trump gave his first interview as president-elect, he regarded the CNN media newscasters as fake and telling lies. A BBC correspondent went to ask a question at the same time. He didn't answer their question and nearly regarded them as the same. Subsequently, I look at the BBC World News, and there's no doubt that their US correspondent, lady correspondent, she cannot say anything positive or decent about President Trump. You would think President Trump never had ran a business or was unknown, and the bit that was known about him made him questionable. He ran a business. He ran a business successfully. He had his ups and downs in that business, but at least he come from a business background. Not like a lot of other politicians that apparently just came up through the ranks in politicians and would not have come from the background that President Trump come from.
There seems to be a lot of hysteria also with the public, and do you think it's because the American people have had 8 years of Obama, and suddenly they have Trump, and is it because they fear change?
Well, that'd be probably number one. They fear the sort of change that President Trump is proposing. President Trump has seen the US towns, cities turned into sort of ghettos, which Elvis Presley one time sang about. He has seen hard-working people reduced to near enough beggars. Being in business, he intends to restore that. He's not ignoring them. He intends to sort of revitalise the US and the US cities and towns and make it a safe place for people. He's instigating policies with that end in view. He has signalled quite clearly that he's not going to allow all the investment hard-won investments that the US managed to provide for companies to go and locate over in cheap and tax-free or whatever it is environments in other countries, not least this country.
One thing that will probably upset people is we live in a politically correct world, and Donald Trump wouldn't be regarded as being politically correct.
Well, you see, this is the trouble with politically correct. There's a lot of phrases you cannot use. You cannot say what you see in front of you. In the US, a small minority, including the courts, inflicted on that country gender fluidity, same-sex marriage, abortion. The courts imposed that in 1973 on the unfortunate people in that country. So, with the result that hundreds of millions of potential citizens have been murdered. The most dangerous place to be is in the womb. So President Trump and his policies are pro-life. One example of the pro-life stance that man has adopted is a march of nearly 1 million pro-life people was reported on Sky News and some other channels that I was able to view. And Vice President Pence addressed that meeting and promised that their concerns would be addressed. This shocks the pro-choice stroke abortion providers and supporters in the media. They are running scared because the policies that they want to inflict on the world will become unstuck. If America does the right thing in that area and treats abortion like the homicide that it is, there's hope for the rest of the world. The people that have gone down that road.
One thing that makes people quite fearful is he's seen as a Western dictator.
Well, this is another example, I presume, of the ridiculous and out of touch media. In the US, even a simpleton would know that it has democratic checks and balances. It is not possible for anybody to be anything remotely like a dictator in that country. His signal, what he stands for, and the type of things he stands for are good. Good for the US, and if so, good for other countries.
What about climate change? I mean, he seems to be against the idea that we need to do something about climate change.
He's opened a debate about climate change. We don't have to take the one-sided view that the media like to present and advocates of climate change and carbon footprints and other sorts of nonsense that they come out with, and that perhaps we'd be better off walking instead of sitting in cars or buses and all the rest of it, and maybe have no cows in fields because they have the ridiculous idea that cows have something to do with the ozone layer. This is the sort of nonsense that they come out with. There might be a case for being prudent in that area, but unfortunately, by the exaggerated way they have presented it, a lot of people kind of take a different view, and some scientists also.
He's upset NATO because of his relationship with Putin. He seems to be more pro-Putin than he is pro-NATO. Would that be correct? Or?
Well, see, there again, the media given the one-sided view. The British Prime Minister Theresa May, the first leader of any country to visit and be invited to meet President Trump about about a week after his inauguration, said quite clearly that he supports NATO. Now, he may have questioned some aspects of it, and which he didn't entitled to, and questioned some aspects about the EU also. He doesn't seem much in favour of that because for example, they interfered in Ukraine and seem to be offering them NATO and some kind of EU associated membership. This alarmed President Putin and the Russian people because it's next door to Russia. So, I mean, I believe the EU and NATO interfered in that country to its disadvantage, and hence what has happened in that country. I mean, it's been part of Russia and next door to it, so you cannot expect President Putin to sit idly by while Europe tries to take over its next door neighbour and destabilise that region. After all, it's not that long ago since they gave up this communism and this desperate legacy that they suffered under Stalin and Lenin and all these people. It's trying to be a democracy, so President Trump is quite correct in trying to support and have friendly relations with Russia, the same as he tries to have friendly relations with most countries.
What do you think of the recent Islamic travel ban? There's 7 countries that are banned. It's been overturned since, but how do you feel about that?
Well, I think it was instituted or instigated by President Obama when he was there, but we'll just forget about that. President Trump has reinstated it and given it a bit more credence than what it might have been heretofore. Well, he has to take steps to protect the American citizens. He's indicated what he's done. By the way, it's not a permanent ban. It's lasting for 90 days so as they can implement procedures to sort of screen potential people from these countries and other Muslim countries from entering that country that might be potential terrorists because of the Twin Towers, the dastardly attack on the skyscrapers in New York called the Twin Towers, in which thousands of innocent people were massacred, including people on passenger planes that got on in good faith going somewhere by these Muslim fanatics. So the business of what President Trump is doing, he's sending a signal. So it behoves other countries to sort of take steps, I presume to do, to try and prevent citizens from being subjected to mass murder.
That's great. Thanks very much, Sean.
Thank you.